सो आज की वीडियो में एक टूर्नामेंट का फाइनल ले रहा हूँ जो कि मैंने खेला था। मैं फाइनल में था, मैं वाइट की तरफ से खेल रहा था और मेरा अपोनेंट था ब्लैक था। तो ये गेम शुरू करते हैं। सो मैंने स्टार्ट किया गेम E4, ब्लैक ने चला E6, नाइट F3, D5, captures on D5, he recaptures and I have given check with bishop B5. He defended with D7 with his bishop. Queen E2 check. He defended with his knight, and I have made the move as E5, knight E5. C6. I captured bishop on D7. He recaptured with his knight. I have put back my bishop. After he played E7, so I castled. He castled long and C4. So the point of C4 is simple, that I have to make the good diagonal for my bishop. He can shift its diagonal to against the king. So and I can take the exchange also if he wants to exchange his pawn, because he will get a long throw for his rook. So it was beneficial for both. So he rejected the offer and played G6, and after I played D3, pawn to D3, bishop G7, and I played C3, H5. So he was trying to move his pawns towards my king. C3, and he played H3. I played because to stop all the threats of pawn moving, and he charged the battery of queen and bishop. That made my king to go H1 to stop the check. He finally captures on C4. I recaptured and he played the move for C5. So it was a move to stabilize both the knights on the good places and making the condition of my big pieces in danger. So he played knight F5. So I played bishop to G5, attacking the rook. So he made the move as G8. So it was a very dangerous move because both his rooks are against my king, and he got a good attack. And the battle of bishop and queen is charged. Both the knights are at good position, so they can attack well. But however, I have stopped that all the things by playing some good moves. So I played bishop captures with check on F5. He recaptured with his pawn, and I put back on my bishop. This bishop played an important role. That's why bishop played an important role in this pawn and this knight. Even though as so he played F4. This was a mistake, I know, because I can simply rook, and my king is totally protected, because no attack will come from black from in this position. Rook to E8, okay. Queen D2, because it was a threat as bishop will move and with attack on queen. So I moved my queen. F4. The simple idea was to that the diagonal of the bishop was actually protected on F, protecting the uh, square of D1, D8. So rook can, in the next move, rook can come to that square, and my queen has to be moved to another square. So game was moving well and I can do more things. And now game was, I thought it will be easy as his bishop condition was bad in this position. I played a queen c2. Yes, g8. 1 minute. Yeah, queen c2, and he played he8. So both the rooks are at the at, at the center. Okay, so I have also made my rook to centers, and I want the exchange of the rooks. Oh, so he played uh, rook knight e6. So I played rook captures on e5. So he recaptured with his pawn, and I captured his rook, and he recaptured with his rook, and I captured recaptured with rook, and now he captured with his queen. So I played move as pinning the knight against the king. d7, queen d7, black played. So I was threatening some good moves in this position. e4, e4, yes. Queen bd8, queen captures on h5, queen d1 check, queen h2, knight d8. So he was moving towards his. I do not was getting the idea of my opponent. I was just trying to, because it was my first final, first tournament, first final. So I was trying to keep it simple, and the final was just simple as the tournament. So I captured on e5, king c8, uh, maybe a threat. Ah, it was a check. With the check I have done. After c8, I have given a check with the knight f5, queen or king d7, knight f5, queen c8. Again he played photogenic draw is also can be possible in this position. So I have also take the care of that, because I was winning in this position because my queen is well protected, but it was protected by these two pawns on h2 and h3. So I have to be careful, because my king will be exploited when these two pawns will be moved forward, as they have a pass pawns. And I was not knowing anything that I can, what can I do. So I was planning for a checkmate only. I was not hoping for a draw, or I can move my pawns forward. So I was just hoping for a checkmate. So I made the e7 check, d7, h8, g8, queen c8. So he was trying for a photogenic draw. f5 check, king b8, e7. So after a6 pawn, making space for the king, because at the next move it was a checkmate. So uh, I captured the pawn on f4, a7, and I played f5, a4. So he was targeting the pawn on a2. So he was trying to make the uh, take the pawn on the starter line, because he cannot give any checks. So he was trying to just take the pawns, a3, b3, queen b3. So he was targeting two pawns at a time, so I can defend it with this queen only at a one time one pawn. so he can take one pawn. A good move here by not giving a pawn. I just irritated that knight so he can move and I can defend two pawns at a time. Both the pawns at a time. c7 attacking the knight. e6 he attacked with his knight to my queen. f7 knight g5 queen f6. So he played h7 and queen d4. After this with the check I have came it here and it was calculated. Okay, so if he wants to give the attack with his he wants to attack the my queen with his knight, so he have to make complete that squares. I have calculated that for 20 or 30 seconds that thing, and I came to that in that position. b8 and e7. So after this he has resigned, but I have made that moves by my own because there was checkmated threats in that move. I can show you after this. It can be any move. He cannot defend it with this any of the pieces, as he can play any move. h5, trying something on queen side, king side. h5, c4. I played white plays c4 and e6, defending but check here. He can only the only move is give his queen. There's not any other option in this position, but I will recapture, and after some moves it will be bad condition for black. He cannot win in this position, he cannot even draw. So queen was a bad option, he cannot try, I think. So because when he will move on a a7, then I will give the check as c8, and when he will move, he can move downwards only, and after this he came again at a7, and this is a checkmate. So this was the final of my tournament and it was very interesting. uh, द फाइनल इतना अच्छा नहीं था. फाइनल फाइनल में इतना अच्छी लड़ाई नहीं हुई थी क्योंकि बहुत आसानी से मैं जीत गया था. जो मेरे बाकी मैचेस थे वो काफ़ी टफ रहे थे. पहला मैच में मैं हारा था, उसके बाद मैंने मैचेस जीते थे, तो मैं उन सब की वीडियो लाऊंगा. लेकिन मेरा फाइनल सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं था. मुझे लगा था बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग होगा, बहुत मुश्किल फाइनल होगा, लेकिन ये बड़ी आसानी से मैं जीत गया था गेम ये. सो थैंक यू. अगली वीडियो में आपसे मिलता हूँ और एक नया मैच लाऊंगा जो कि इसी टूर्नामेंट में मैंने खेला है. उस मैच पे भी काम चल रहा है और अभी वो भी आएगा. वो थोड़े इंटरेस्टिंग हो गए, थोड़े और क्लोज मैच रहेंगे.